In a weird way, Jogging Race is one of the games that set me on this path. It was featured on Game Center CX, and since I was collecting the games featured on the show, I wanted to pick it up. Well, since I was picking up some Family Trainer games, I might as well get the set of those. There's only 10 of them. And if you're getting the set of Family Trainer games, you're already in too deep. At that point, it's a short hop over to might as well go for all of the Famicom games. The thing is, there isn't going to be a whole lot to say about Jogging Race. It's another exercise game for Bandai's Family Trainer, and similar to Orobi Studio, it exists mainly because of the fitness trends of the 80s. This is also the most absurd of the Family Trainer games. No other game has such an extreme demand of fitness from the player. The way you play Jogging Race is to run on the Family Trainer, a plastic mat that Bandai created where stepping on certain spots is the same thing as pushing a button. Real Family Trainers are pretty fragile these days, so I homebrewed my own solution for it. Though if you've been watching these videos for a while, you know that it's flaky and I just never find time to rebuild it properly. The first option in the main menu is to just go jogging. If you select it, you can enter some stats. I put in my extremely accurate height, weight, and age from my online dating profile. Those are used to calculate how many calories you're burning. You're also given a choice of if you'd like to jog for a certain amount of time or for a certain amount of distance. And then you just run. The courses lapse around the Imperial Palace in Tokyo. The Imperial Palace is still a very popular place for runners, since it's a long track with no breaks. All you can do in this mode is run. You can't bump into people, you can't interact with anything, you just run. The graphics are a pretty good representation of what the course around the Imperial Palace looks like. Hey, I once found a copy of an Ultraman magazine at that bus stop. But that's all there is to this. You go until the time's up, or until you've run your distance. The other mode is the killer. The goal in that one is to run a marathon. Yes, really. As a concession to not killing any players who haven't been through heavy training, it's broken up into 14 3-kilometer segments. There's no save game, of course, or passwords, so you still have to do it in one outing. But at least you can take breaks. Also, a little bit of a secret here, it's not actually that distance. It'll probably take you about 10 minutes to cover each course segment, and if that was a real-world marathon, that would be an amazing time. In this case, there's power-ups you can get on the way. The drinks speed you up, which makes your run go faster. And when you get a skateboard, you can just ride along on it until you run into something. You can jump while you're on the skateboard to go over obstacles too. But even with these advantages, you're still looking at around 2 hours or more to complete the whole course. You have energy, but it's not really your fatigue as you run. Instead, when you run into obstacles or trip and fall, that takes away a point of your energy. You can recover some energy by eating things you find along the way. In the marathon mode, the lane matters. There are 3 lanes that you can run in, and you can change lanes to avoid obstacles or pick something up. I found it pretty hard to tell where things were though. The course you're running on doesn't have lane markings, and that makes it easy to run right past things that you think you're going to pick up. Jogging Race is a game that's interesting from a historical perspective, but it is absolutely miserable to play. I strongly suspect that I'm the only human being on Earth who has tried to play Jogging Race in the past 5 years. Or at least played it on actual hardware before my pad broke. It's a game that makes me wonder why you would implement something like this. If there had been a mode where there were just 14 3-kilometer races, each a little bit different, and then you could string them all together into a marathon, I could see that working. That's not what Jogging Race is, though. It's an attempt to just drive players to sheer exhaustion.